Brandon here, and time for more SexxxPerTease. Today's question is, how do you tell your partner that you no longer want to be open? This happens. I mean, sometimes you are okay with agreeing to an open relationship at first. It just seems fun, exciting, new, and different. Maybe something in your relationship wasn't working out and you weren't sexually compatible, so you decided to open things up where you maybe are having sex with other people together or separately. And sometimes it works indefinitely for some couples, and sometimes you just realize this is messy or this is not the life I want for myself. And you have to try to tell your partner, can we go back to being monogamous or close our relationship and focus on us? And that definitely is a hard thing to do when you already did open Pandora's box and maybe your partner is actually enjoying fucking other people or seeing other people and you are not. And also there's always that possibility if you decide to be open where one of you has no problem fucking and sucking and meeting new people, but maybe one of you is way harder for you to find someone you actually want to be with outside of your relationship. And that is just more complications that come with being open and opening up your relationship. And it happens. I feel like I've seen it happen before where it's just like, yeah, one person's significantly enjoying the open relationship more than the other. And you gotta try to pull it back. And I also feel like it is hard because you don't know what the partner's reaction, because I feel like that would be like the most devastating thing where it's like we agreed to be open, but then it's like you realize I don't like this, I don't want to do this, but then your partner's like, well, I do like it and I want to keep doing it. Because I gotta just feel like you gotta just accept, like, okay, we just aren't meant to be together. As you realize that in the beginning too, if one person is more open and poly and you prefer monogamy, you obviously are not compatible. And I feel like you should just not waste your time, because the longer you get invested in it, the more it's just going to hurt, where it's just like we are trying to force something that isn't meant to be. If you have different styles of what you want in a relationship, you just are not meant to be together. And I feel like there's something you have to accept and deal with and not try to force because you like them. But in reality, in the long run, it's just not going to be worth it trying to make a relationship work with someone that wants to be with other people and you just want to be with them. That just seems like a disaster and torture and not something I would ever want to put myself through. But when you did already agree to be open and tried it and just realized it wasn't for you, you just gotta hope maybe your partner agrees the same way, even though I do feel like it always comes down to who first suggested it. Well, sometimes even the person that first suggested being open is the one that doesn't like it, and then the partner that was more skeptical of being open is the one that does embrace it and enjoy it the most. So you just never know what you're gonna get. But honestly, the best plan of action is just tell them that you don't want to do this anymore. Maybe you feel like you are spending too much time with other people, that you need to at least close things off, even if it's temporarily, so you can focus on each other and focus on this relationship. And I feel like if your partner doesn't want to do that, it's kind of like a clear sign that their heart just isn't into you. Because I feel like no matter if you are in an open or poly relationship, you still gotta prioritize and make the time and effort for your main relationship. This is why you decided, I guess, to open things up instead of breaking up, because you wanted to still be together and still maintain your connection in each other's lives. But I do feel like it's just potentially you could get your heart broken whenever you decide that you no longer want to be open. But I do feel like it's better to just be direct and go for it and figure out like what page you're on, because I feel like if you are in a relationship, no matter if it's open, closed, whatever, you still always need to be on the same page with your partner and know what each other's thinking and share everything with each other and be transparent and communicate. And I feel like you just gotta do it. You gotta just tell them, hey babe, I don't want to be open anymore, and how do you feel about it? And if hopefully they're on the same page and you guys can stop being open. But if they just don't want to not be open anymore, you either got to decide to deal with it or move on. And I feel like people are so scared to move on and so scared of breaking up and so scared of starting over. But I would rather move on and start over than be unhappy in a situation that I know just isn't going to work. Like, I want a monogamy. I want a partner all to myself. I don't want to constantly be on dating apps looking for someone new. I don't want to constantly be like hooking up when I could be spending time with my man. It's just kind of like, it just wouldn't work for me, but other people find a way to make it work. But I also feel like even if we are open, we still gotta have time for each other. We still have to make each other feel special, make each other feel like a priority, and make each other feel like this is our main relationship. The other people do not compare. Like, we're up here, they're down there. Like, they will never be like up here taking time away from each other. And I feel like that a lot of people can get lost in an open relationship because you are so focused on someone new that you're not focusing on the person you are spending the most time with, or the person that is or should be your priority, because you are in this relationship together. And I do feel like you get the full picture when you do ask them or tell them you don't want to be open anymore and they still want to be open, because it kind of just feels like, well, I'm no longer their priority. And I would definitely have to leave the relationship and end it, but other people are always scared to let go of the past and move on with their lives. But your man's already out here fucking everyone else and you don't want to be. So clearly he already has his backups lined up and you haven't found anyone you actually like or want to be connected to indefinitely. And I do just feel like the best course of action is to just end the relationship, because it's over. Let it go. This relationship is not going to last. It's not meant to be if you aren't even on the same page on what type of relationship you want. So you just gotta be straightforward. Tell your partner that you feel like maybe being open is gotten out of hand and you just want to spend some time focusing on each other. Or maybe you could even find a compromise where, like, let's do 3 months monogamous, 3 months be open, 3 months monogamous, 3 months being open, or maybe 6 months monogamous, 6 months open, or maybe do every other month. I mean, it's your relationship, your rules. You determine what you want your relationship to look like. You just have to agree and have an agreement with your partner for what works best for you. But I do think if you want monogamy and your partner doesn't, you either are gonna break up or have to settle for something that isn't going to be fully what you want, such as you can still be open some of the time, but you're going to be monogamous most of the time. Or maybe you only are open when you play together and not apart. So then that way you can still always feel connected, even though that kind of feels pathetic to me if it does feel like your partner wants to be with this person and you're not even into the third person, but you're only doing it because your man wants them. Because I kind of just feel like that's just settling, when it's like, I'm only doing this because I love you, but not because I actually want to be having threesomes. Like, that just seems like torture, and I just think it would be best to end the relationship. But maybe you can find a healthy compromise just to be open some of the time and not all the time, since clearly it doesn't seem to be what you wanted. So I hope that helped answer your question, and thanks for joining me for this episode of SexxxPerTease.